Guru Nation, thank you so much for watching. I'm here at ACRP 2024 networking. I found someone, well, she found me. Thank you so much, Ann, for coming up to me and letting me know. She listened to the podcast, and I said, you know what? This could be a podcast, your career, your story. So coordinating and then CRA in the same place.
Yeah.
So this is like a big AMC.
So typically at our site, the way it works is you start as a research assistant or a coordinator, just depending on your experience, and then kind of as you get a grasp of things, you can be promoted to a CRA. And it's you still kind of fulfill the same role. You might have a little bit more responsibility as far as like managing the financials of the trial and things like that, but you're still a coordinator, and at our site we still refer to ourselves as coordinators.
Okay. What were you doing before CRC? Like, how did you discover research?
I was an EMT.
Oh, EMT?
Yeah,
I got my brother-in-law's a EMT paramedic. I think, yeah, you're definitely not the first. There's many that have made that leap to...
Yeah.
Matter of fact, in Yuma, at my site at Yuma Clinical Trials, we interviewed someone who was a EMT, but his schedule was crazy, and he was making actually pretty good money.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to take a pay cut to work for us initially until we train you.
Yeah, the overtime was definitely really, really good. So.
But you wanted to do research.
Well, actually, when I was in college, I got my EMT certification because I wanted to go to PA school. And to go to PA school, you need patient care hours, and it needs to be hands-on patient care hours. And so I went through the EMT route. Some people do like nursing assistant, things like that. And so I got my EMT license, and then I was able to actually work through COVID, which was really nice. I was able to do school remotely and work kind of full-time, honestly.
How did you discover research?
So after a while, I kind of realized, and I was putting my application together for PA school, I kind of realized that it's not really what I wanted to do anymore, and so I started looking at...
Why, stressful or...?
Just, I think I didn't want to be primarily patient-facing and in patient care, but I like patient care. I like working with patients and working in some sort of healthcare adjacent role, but maybe not being the primary caretaker. So, I just was kind of looking there, and I think as far as career development, I heard from a lot of PAs that, you know, some people said that there wasn't a ton of growth. Which made me a little bit worried. I'm sure there are other options. It's just at the time, I don't know.
But definitely the EMT, I'm like very familiar with that career path because of my brother-in-law. He works for the city of Surprise, Arizona, so it's like a suburb of Phoenix. And he's 30 years into it, so he's like 2 more years left to hit 30.
That's awesome.
And but there's a lot of side effects, I guess, that go into that role. One of them is PTSD. Like, if you work in that role long enough, you will see some crazy stuff. And he brings it home with him.
Yeah.
And apparently it's a very common thing among, like, first-line responders, paramedics, EMTs.
Yeah.
They have support groups dedicated just for them. So that could have potentially been a route you would have gone down.
Right, and I work for a private ambulance company, so it was a little bit different. It's a lot of transfers, a lot of dialysis calls, things like that. Some emergencies, but they're usually a little lower level. Unless I was assisting a paramedic, then it's a higher level emergency that I would be involved in.
But those transferable skills from paramedic or EMT paramedic to CRC, people don't equate that. But like if you're an EMT or a paramedic, you have the transferable skills. Like one of the things we need for a CRC, can you draw blood? Can you get an IV? Can you administer an infusion? Can you do like just basic vitals? And you guys, I mean, that's what you're trained to do.
Yeah, that's what we did every day. With every
and work
patient.
well under pressure.
Yeah,
like, who cares about database lock when you got someone dying, you know,
yeah,
in front
definitely.
of you?
So then I was just looking for what other jobs I can find or do with my skill set, and I found clinical research. And
so you just Googled, like, what can paramedic do? Or?
I just started looking on LinkedIn at what people that were in EMS and what they do now, and clinical research was one of them. And honestly, I just applied to a ton of healthcare adjacent roles, and that's kind of where I landed. So, yeah.
And then how many interviews did you have to do, or how many applications did you have to do to even get interviews? People see the success. I want them to see the failures, if you had any. I'm guessing you did.
I interviewed for probably 8 months, or applied for 8 months before I even got my first. Yeah, hundreds, a lot.
I hope you guys are listening.
It's really, I would say it's really hard, and it's definitely tough, even when the market's good, I think.
Just that first one, though.
Yeah, especially
when
you have no experience, no one wants to take a chance on you, you know?
Right. But after someone does, and you get like a year or two under your belt, then everyone comes after you.
Yeah.
There's some job recruiters here, like 2 books down.
Yeah.
We interviewed them earlier. They're calling sites up all the time, like, hey, and like subvertly, like the players don't even know. Like, hey, Annie or Ann, do you want to work? Are you tired of your job? Yeah. I'm sure you get hit up still by recruiters.
Yeah. I think it's also a way to kind of level up your career if being a coordinator kind of plateaus and there's no future growth opportunities, then you can, you know.
But your employer, it seems like they're ahead of that. They promoted you.
Yeah, and then I guess next steps I'll see what happens.
Is what?
I guess I'll see what happens next steps wise.
What's goals for you?
I think I like being in a role that I'm able to do what I want and how I want it. So maybe
like manager.
Maybe manager. I think there's.
Have you met Bree Burke?
No, I haven't.
I gotta introduce you to Bree.
Okay.
She like runs the show here at Viva.
Okay.
She's amazing.
Yeah, so I kind of like running the show. I think that's why I enjoy being a coordinator so much.
But you're in charge of yourself and your patients, right? Do you have like any managerial roles now? Like, are there?
No. And I think before I even get to that step, there's still a lot I have to learn. You know.
Yeah, but it happens fast.
Yeah.
What? So just oncology right now?
I work in breast health, so specifically a lot of robotic surgery.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's super interesting stuff.
Yeah, and then I was also able to work on our NAPRC program, which is the National Accreditation for Rectal Cancer. It's not within clinical research, but it's through the ACS program, which is American College of Surgeons. And so hospitals can get accredited for breast cancer, rectal cancer, and there's the director, which is typically the physician, and then there's the coordinator who does all the audits and like policies, procedures, hassles all the other people in the program to get compliant with all the standards. And then after a year of being compliant, you can apply for the accreditation.
Gotcha.
So this spring, we're on track to get our accreditation, and we'll be, I think, one of 8 hospitals in Illinois to have it.
Abby from Viva said, let's celebrate coordinators. What did she tell you? Like, to celebrate something?
To say what I like about the industry, maybe?
There you go. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. I think as a coordinator, you get to wear a lot of hats. I feel like I hear that phrase all the time, and I think it really is true.
Lots.
I think I get to work remotely and answer queries, which isn't always
like
the most
half
fun.
the time you work remotely, or like all the time?
It's really dependent on where my patients are at. You know, some weeks I have follow-ups that I have to be in person at.
Gotcha.
They have questionnaires, things like that. We are an all-paper site right now, so I have to be,
Even regulatory?
Mm-hmm.
You guys might want to consider this.
I know.
At least we're regulatory.
There's just a lot of red tape with getting things approved. Yeah. So
that's where people with like in different pay grades, I guess.
Yes. Exactly. I know. I even saw on your podcast you had Slope.
Slope.io, yeah.
So I had a really big study that had a ton of supplies that I had to keep track of, and I was listening to it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this would be so great. And I actually had a demo with Slope, and now I almost feel embarrassed that I even contacted them because we're on month I want to say maybe 10 or 11 of going through red tape, and our IT department is asking them for things, and I know this poor coordinator is like, this is a free system and it's taking months.
But you know what? Like, change agents come from within too.
Yeah.
So it's worth it. That's why I'm going to introduce you to Bree. I mean, I don't care if you guys use Viva or not. I think she's a good connection for you because there's a lot of similarities to her career and yours.
Okay.
She went the RN route at Academic Center.
Awesome.
You went the paramedic, EMT, Academic Center, large health system, both oncology as well. So there's a lot of similarities. So all paper, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Any advice for people watching that are saying, dang, you know, Anne, I only wish I could be in her position. Whether they're EMT or whatever background they are. Because I think the part that is going to get lost on this is hundreds of applications.
Yeah.
What made you not give up?
I just knew I didn't want to be an EMT for much longer. Honestly, my back would probably be broken if I kept working there. It's just a lot of carrying patients, so that was always a struggle for me, especially because I'm so short.
There's better use of your skill set.
Yeah. I think it's just staying consistent, and even I know it feels like you're failing and you're not doing great, but just keep applying. And
can they connect with you? You're gonna be a mentor to people?
Yeah, definitely, no problem.
Put you on the spot. Okay, Anne's LinkedIn will be underneath. I'm gonna have to make sure I have it because you look like someone, and I know everyone tells you that.
Everyone tells me that.
All right, so I'm gonna find out for sure now. But thank you so much for this. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for inspiring other people that might be watching. Everybody, go connect with Anne right now.